All right, hold on. Let me make sure we all up in here and we all good out here in these streets. All right, looks like we are back up in this thing. All right, friends. Welcome to. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Like, we got to record this thing. My bad, y'all. All right. So, welcome to the Rookie Reset. My name is Andrea Fitzgerald, and I will be your host this evening. I'm an author and a speaker, and it's also really committed to helping new teachers because, listen, a lot of times new teachers quit too soon because they're just not getting the support they need. So, guess what, y'all? I'm the PD in your building. I am the support that you need. Every Tuesday, we here between 5:15, 5:45. Listen, I can't commit to a set time, but listen, I'm gonna be consistent with the window of time. Today is a little earlier. I finished work on time, so here we are. So yes, and you may be saying to yourself, new teacher, you say, what the heck is a rookie reset? Well, guys, it would be evenings just like this, except your girl will be stressed the hell out because I could not manage my classroom. Quite frankly, I couldn't figure out this whole teaching thing. So what we do here on the Rookie Reset is to provide you with practical tools, tips, and strategies to help you stay in the teaching game. That's me in a nutshell. We want to keep new teachers in the game because we know a great teacher can change the game for everybody. I always talk about people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself, change the game for me. So that's what I hope. If new teachers getting support they need, they support the students with what they need. So today, guys, we are going to talk about how to reset your class after a break. Yes, after reset your class after break. So as I was thinking about this, I was reflecting on my time in college. Y'all, I was in a really bad slump. And you may be if you're not a sports person, what's the slump? That means that, baby, you shoot a shot and you just pray that it goes in. It ain't going in. Like none of the shots are going in. So I was in a slump so bad, and it didn't matter what I did. I mean, I would work after practice in the gym, shooting jumpers. I was doing all this stuff, and yet even though I would try to shoot the ball in the game, it wouldn't go in. And I was shooting so bad. I had started off the season as a starter that by midseason I wasn't even starting anymore. Like my minutes, I was coming off the bench, and so I had this game in particular. I go into the game, and let me tell you, first shot, clank, it doesn't go in. And I'm saying to myself, dang, here we go again. I'm on the struggle bus yet again. And and I still was playing bad, still was missing shots. And I think my coach yanked me out the game again. So I was so down on myself. I said, man, I don't know what happened. But we go into halftime. He gives us a speech. He makes some adjustments. I go about the second half of the game and I drop 21 points. And I was able to bounce back, but it did not happen overnight. So when I think about teaching in my first year, it was just kind of like that, right? Because I was in the gym, y'all. I was putting up the jumpers, but shots weren't going in. And just like that in teaching, I was staying after school. I was bringing all the work home. I was planning the lessons. But when I got in that classroom, when I was trying to teach the kids something, baby, that thing was clank clank out here, baby. They listen, I'm screaming every day. I'm stressed out. I'm putting in all the work, and I see no results when I stand in, when I get on in the game day in front of the students. I wasn't getting any type of results back. So I was just like, I don't know about this. And my first year teaching was a lot like that because the first half of the game, i.e., the first semester, it was a whole disaster out here. And I would be so happy because when the break finally ended, because I was on a struggle bus so bad, I'd be so happy. I go on the break, I'm like, oh my gosh, we got 2 more days to break. And as the days got closer, you get to it, it's like, man, I got 3 more days to the break. I got two more days to the break. I mean, till we go back to school. And I had just the stress. It was this anxiety of thinking back to going back into that classroom because it was just so off the chain. I was like, dang, man, I'm gonna have to do another semester screaming. That's what's about to happen because it wasn't getting any better for me. Just like, and I was in the gym shooting them jumpers. It wasn't getting any better. But let me tell you something. Let me back up. So I would have what you call, y'all know the Sunday heebie jeebies. Y'all know what that is? You know, the Sunday heebie-jeebies, when you like, man, I'm just so stressed out. Like, man, this next week it's about to be hard. And it's like, Monday morning. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. So I call it a semester heebie-jeebies. Because in my mind, I said, well, here we go. Like, um, how I felt anxiety about even going through another semester. Like, how this gonna work, right? Like, how this gonna work? Hold on, y'all. Let me pull up my little screen. Hold on a second. I said, how this gonna work? Like, how is this gonna go? But oops, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute, y'all. Let me go back to what we got going over here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sorry, y'all. I got the little tech. Hold on a second. All right, so yeah, I was stressed out. And I want to let you know something, new teacher. Just like I bounced back from that game, if there is any time to get your class back on track, it is now. It could have been horrible the first semester. You could be saying to yourself, I don't even know if I'm coming back at the end of the year because it has been so bad. It could have been terrible, but you can always bounce back just like I did that day when I had 21 points the second half of the game, and I had a whole stretch of games where I could not hit the bottom of a board. It is very possible for you. I'm living proof. Y'all see this book? This from the challenges of screaming every day. I bounce back. You can too, but this is the time to do it. Because it could have, like I said, it could have been a whole disaster first semester. You like, you know what, Fitz? I don't know about this. You can bounce back. The time to reset is now. And there are different types of resets. Like there are times, where I've had to roast my students, bring them back together, be like, okay, y'all, we got to get back on track. My sixth period, we had a reset. It was like once a week, I swear. But this reset is about you reestablishing yourself. You getting the class back on track. So I'm going to share with you 5 tips to reset your class after a break. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes here. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to review your policies, procedures, and expectations. Well, Fitz, what do you mean by that? So, I want you to think about as a new teacher, when I say review policies and procedures, what are your current policies and procedures that you have like right now? Just take a piece of paper, write them joints all down, every single one of them. Like one of my procedures, my first procedure, I didn't, and honestly, you may say, what, Fitz, I don't have any. That's okay. I have none either. My procedures, because I didn't have any structures, no systems. Yeah, I didn't have any. I just walked up because you want to think about this when we talk about policies, procedures, routines. We're talking about the culture. We're talking about structures, right? And I think of this part: culture, structures, policies, procedures, routines, those type of things. Those are the conditions for learning to take place. Because, like I said, I did not have any structures. Therefore, me pulling up with my book and my dry erase marker and my pencil. Listen, there wasn't a lot of teaching going in there. It wasn't a lot going on in there because I did not have the conditions for learning to take place. The conditions are like soil, right? So it's like, do I have the right water? Do I have the right sunlight so that the plants, i.e. the students, can grow so they can learn something? Because if you screaming and yelling every day, just like I was, screaming and yelling every day, listen, there wasn't a lot of learning going on in that thing because the conditions were not right for them to take place. So this is really about being reflective, thinking about, okay, where am I currently? You know, and so what I often share with people when it comes to this is what I call a run of show. Because this is what you want to think about when it comes to structures and systems. We talk about a run of show. So with a run of show, it's run of shows are used for events. They know from the minute, even like 2 to 3 hours before the guests walk in the door, all the way to the end, like all the way until the guest leaves, right? So for instance, think about you go to a movie. It's a person there taking your ticket. It's people to get your food. It's somebody to tell you what your seat location is. They've already thought about this before you even entered the door. And you want to think about your classroom every day is an event. You want to think about all the things that could take place before them students even walk in the door. How are they going into the classroom? Where are they gonna grab their calculators? How are we gonna do our do now? How are we gonna have conversations? How are we gonna work in groups? You want to think about every single possibility before they even enter that classroom. What are the conditions I need to have for learning to take place? Now, and I think also with these, like, not that there's, because I could give you a ton of them, right? But this is not about do this, do that. This is about you knowing yourself. That is what I found to be the most significant. I often talk about a structure I tried to create with this little notebook that my brother had one time. And he's super detailed. He's very organized. And I tried to do it for about 2 weeks. And you know what happened? That thing completely fell off because I was like, hell, I don't even remember what I assigned you for homework. Do you think I'm going to know what page and what problem to check? I'm not. So knowing yourself is really critical when we talk about those policies and procedures. So, think about that part, run of show. So now you thought about your policies, procedures, and stuff like that. You want to evaluate semester one. This is again about being reflective. We've listed all our policies. We know what we're working with, our policy, procedures, routine structures, all of that. We want to evaluate it. Hey, how's it working? What worked the first semester? What didn't work? What was even effective? What pieces didn't flow? So for example, my my first year, you know what? We used to use calculators, and I think I had 35. And you know how many I had at the end of the year? 12. That's right, you heard it, 12. That's 22 calculators gone because I did not have a structure for that. So you know what I started doing? Numbering the desk so that I knew exactly who had what calculator. And before we left, every calculator had to be back or we were not leaving, right? So that was just this me thinking about policies and procedures and work. I can't lose 23 calculators. That's a lot of money for the school, and I don't want to be responsible for that. The other thing is one of the policies and procedures that one of the things that I realized was not effective. It took me 12 to 15 minutes to start my lesson. Why? Because I was like, okay, class, can I get your attention at the front? Can I? That's how I spent the first 12 to 15 minutes of my class because I didn't have a structure for how students entered the class. That was not effective. So I had to make an adjustment. That didn't necessarily work for me. And there may be things that did work for you, right? I knew that students having to do now was effective. I just knew that it had to be a little bit more structured. There was no system, no nothing around that thing. So just had to make an adjustment there. So this is not about, oh my gosh, it's just a hot disaster out here. I'm just not a good teacher. No, no, no. This is just evaluation. This is being reflective. And I'll tell you this. If you wanna know why it's so important to be reflective. So number one of the first reasons, now if we talk in dollars and cents, they say that teachers who are reflective, they make 35% more money because they move up a lot faster because they're willing to self-reflect and they're willing to make adjustments. I think that you probably want to make a couple extra dollars. I think we can agree on that, right? But the second thing, let's talk about success. So I was talking to my fiance, and I asked her, we were doing some work, and I asked her, she said, do you know what the most successful people, do you know what trait they have? I said, oh, they're disciplined, they work hard, they're I don't know. So but discipline, work hard, a lot of effort. And she was like, no, self-reflection, self-awareness, because you can't change what you're not willing to name. So they're willing to reflect. They're willing to look at what worked, what didn't, and make adjustments. So this is really about just evaluating where you are. This is not about being perfect because none of us are. And the next piece is you want to set new expectations. So when you think about what worked and what didn't, I like to take when I take people through this session, I say, let's do a 5-star review. If something was really, really effective, give it a 5. If it was partially effective, give it a 3. And if it was completely ineffective, give it a 1. And if there's anything that is less than a 5, then let's think about how we might make an adjustment, right? But you want to think about what adjustments you can make. So I told you that after I evaluated semester one, I said, listen, I cannot take 15 minutes to get my class to do till we start class. That is wasted time. The pressure of the state exam is coming up. I know that's on me. I have a lot to get done, and I don't have 15 minutes to waste every day. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to set a timer. I'm gonna have a timer at the board. I'm gonna have a paper sitting at the table when they enter, so that now they don't have to wait on the work that's at the board. They can just grab a paper and they got 5 to 7 minutes to get it done. And I'm taking it up. I don't care if it's done or not. I'm taking it up. So there was a small adjustment I made, a new expectation and a new adjustment, because that first one wasn't working. And it's not that anything's wrong with that. It's just I knew it was a ton of pressure and things that I had to do. So set those new expectations. Take some time and really think about that. Like I talked about the calculators. I can't lose 22 calculators. So that's a lot of money. So I'm going to have to number the desk. It's a little bit extra effort. I'm going to number the desk. They're going to have to be in there before we leave. Set new expectations. So really think about adjustments that you can make. That's what this is really about. When we go back to even that game, the coach made adjustments that set me up to bounce back the second half. And that's kind of what we want to do right here. What adjustments can I make? Because, something that our coaches always say, he said the most insignificant score of a game is halftime. Who cares? No one says, what was the halftime score? No, they say, what was it at the end? Did you win or did you lose? And I want to help you win. So just set those new expectations. Now, the next one, folks, is to establish yourself again. You almost want to act like this is the very first day of school. That's right. You heard it. Because listen, over break, sometimes kids forget. Those new expectations that you talked about, you like, you know what? I'm going to have calculators. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. This is where you communicate that to them. You let them know that this is how we roll in this semester. Now, and this is the deal, y'all. What I would often tell them is it's like it's like this is the first day of school. This is I would tell them, I say, hey class, listen. To be honest with you, I'd be vulnerable with them. I say, listen, the first semester I was trying to actually figure out teaching, y'all. I really was. I was trying to learn you were trying to learn me. And so it was a little chaotic in here because I was trying to figure it out. One thing that I've noticed is now that I've been working with you, I see how brilliant you are. I see how brilliant you are. And I don't think I've set the bar high enough. I think that we can actually do more. So some things are gonna be a little different this semester. So for instance, like how we, came in and we had 15 minutes and we didn't have anything to do, we had to do now, but it just took 15 minutes. Now we have a timer at the board and I'm taking the paper up at 5 minutes. 5 minutes, the paper, just pass that thing on up. I'm gonna give it back to you the next day. And but you have 5 minutes, sharpen your pencil, all that, and then we gonna get to going ahead. But this is where you get an opportunity to reset your class. And I think something that I often used to think about, or that I learned as I continue to teach, was that everyone didn't have a good break. So it was also an opportunity to check in with students. But right here, you want to communicate those expectations with them. So you want to establish yourself again. And let me tell you again, the good news here, your first semester could have been terrible. You were thinking right now of putting your papers in. And you said, I'm not doing this. I'm going to quit. But I'm telling you, the good news is that you can bounce back right now. Like I'm telling you. And I'm going to tell you 2 stories to let you know like how effective this is. I had a teacher that I was working with. We were hopping on a call about something else. He was like, listen, I'm just letting you know, I'm really giving myself a week. I don't think I'm going to make it. And I shared this video that I have about this, and we talked through some other things. I talked to him the next week, and he was like, all right, let's go. He was ready. And he was doing a phenomenal job after that. Because it's all about it's always possible. And I think this was like in the middle it was the middle of the second semester, but it was pretty late in the year. And he was on his way out the door. He was like, listen, we all here to talk about this, but baby, I'm telling you right now, I'm out this thing. So it's possible. And I had another teacher last year that I gave the same session to, and he was like, listen, I'm letting you know that I was getting in my car to apply for jobs. Like that was my goal. As soon as I got out of today's class, this is what I was doing. And he was like, after I heard the session, he was like, I understand now. I get it. I get it. Cause see, this is the thing, y'all. People don't tell us teaching hard. It's hard as hell. Excuse my French, as hell. It's hard. Teaching is hard. And it's a lot to manage. You managing teaching the content, you're managing personalities, you're trying to build a relationship. It's a whole lot in there. You trying to manage structure. That's why I say teachers master manager, y'all. It's that hard. Trust me when I say this. But the good news is you can bounce back. Okay. That's what I'm gonna say. So act like this is the very first day of school. Now, the last one is the T, which is tone builds trust. And the question I always ask people is when the last time you got a McDonald's milkshake? And most of us will say, well, gosh, I haven't. I think over the course of, wow, 40 years since I've been doing this. And people, I've had 3 people. I've probably done, I've said the same little McDonald's story and it's like, 3 people out of 4 years to say, I've got a McDonald's milkshake. Because every time we ask what they say, it's broken. But we go to Chick-fil-A, we say, we need 5 hot sauces. We said we need 15 hot sauce, 5 little 5 nuggets. What they gonna say? My pleasure. And we trust them so much, we don't even check our bag, y'all. That's how consistent they are. They gonna say, what? My pleasure. And we not even tripping on that. And you know what? It's about both of them. They both are very consistent. But it's 2 types of consistency. And I often tell people that my class, my first year, was McDonald's milkshake machine. Y'all, that thing was inconsistent. I was so inconsistent. I didn't know if I was coming or going, baby. And I used to say to the people, I say, why do they act like this in my class? And they act like that in Miss Reed's class. You know why? Because I was inconsistent. Miss Reed was very consistent with the expectations. They knew what to expect in there. They already knew, like, my paper gonna be right here. It's gonna do this, gonna do this, do this. You set the tone by being consistent. That's the story. So all these things that we've talked about, you say, oh, I'm gonna do the calculator thing. You got to be consistent. You got to stay consistent on that thing, because this is the deal. And I've even learned this as I've been beginning to explore more about relationships. They're gonna test y'all. Your students are gonna test you. They're like, oh, you saying this how you roll? Let me see if let me see if this really what you about. Let me see if this what you really on. They're gonna test you. Just stay strong. Hold true to that thing. Just handle that resistance. That they're gonna do it. You know it's gonna happen. So you just hold true, because you know what I used to tell my students? I say, one of us is gonna be stressed out, guys. You know what? It's not gonna be me. Because listen, I can be stressed about how do I raise these test scores. I can be stressed about how do I support you better. I can be stressed, but I'm not gonna be stressed about screaming and yelling every day. I ain't doing that. So one of us is gonna be stressed. I'm not screaming and yelling. I'm not going back and forth with you all day. So we got to make some adjustments. So it's all tone is built, or trust is built by you setting the tone. And you do that by being consistent. Because if you think about people you trust the most, they're consistent. They come through in the clutch. It's my mom. She's so consistent. If she says she's going to do it, I know it's done. So just keep that in mind. So as we close it out, rookies, listen, I just want to close out with this. So many years ago, I want to tell you a quick story. But first, before we do that, let's just recap those. Review the policies, expectations, and procedures. So just think about, list all your procedures and evaluate it. What worked, what didn't, how am I going to make adjustments? Set those new expectations. This is where you want to communicate that to them. This is where you, let me back up. Set new expectations. So think about, okay, if there's anything less than a 5 in terms of effectiveness, I got to make adjustments. What are those adjustments going to be? And then E is establish yourself again. So you want to communicate these to your students. And you almost want to act like it's the first day of school, y'all. You know how you had to go over the rules and you go over everything. This had a desk and all of that. This is where you do all of that. And then the last one is tone builds trust. So this is all about holding strong, y'all. They gonna test you. Be consistent. They gonna test you. They want to know, are you real? Recognize real. You said this what it is. Is it? Is it what it is? So they'll know you mean business when you keep doing it over and over. That's all. They'll be like, oh, okay. Because it's not about, again, this is not about, oh, I got to be mean. That don't work. But it's really about my actions reflect. I said what I said, my actions gonna reflect it, you know? All right. So I want to close out with a little motivation to help you as a new teacher to keep you in this thing. Because listen, I know this first semester has been hard. And you're looking at this problem, you're like, how the heck am I gonna do this? So I'm going to tell you a quick story. I was in graduate school, and I had my first year of graduate school. Is this one class. It was research methods. It was Dr. Higgs, and I was struggling in that class. So I had my lit review, and I got it back, and y'all know what I got on that thing? A 3 out of 10. That's right. You heard me, a 3 out of 10. You know, math teachers, y'all can put that together. That's a 30%. That's a whole F. So I go up into our office and I say, Dr. Higgs, what can I do to pass? I really want to do well on this in this course. And you know what Dr. Higgs said to me? She said, you'll be lucky to get a D out of this class. And I felt such a ton of pressure because first of all, it had been so many people that had quit this program. And in order for me to maintain my scholarship, I had to get a B in this class. And she said, I'd be lucky to get a D. So when she said that, y'all know how you feel your eyes start watering and you get that big gulp in your throat. And because you're trying to like hold together. But that's what I did. I was like, but I had to keep it together in this lady office. Like I was like, she not about to see me sweat up in here. And I started walking across campus with my backpack, and y'all, I was ugly crying. I ain't even care. I was like, I'm gonna fail. I mean, ugly crying all across campus, you know, like little Daryl out here. You know what I'm saying? So I get to the library, I put my head in my hands, and I call my dad, man. I'm just like, Daddy, I don't think listen, I ain't gonna make this out. Like, I'm straight up, everybody else gonna quit. Maybe I just cannot do this. And he said, Andrea, he said, you built for this. I want you to think about all the moments in your life where you thought you weren't gonna make it. You remember that depression you went through. You remember when you thought you weren't gonna earn a basketball scholarship. You remember all these moments you had where you couldn't do it. You thought you couldn't do it, and it worked out, and you did. And so my message to you today is the same one. You're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some moments just like that where your hand is in your head and you're saying, what the hell am I doing? Really? Like, what am I doing? Like, this is so hard. I want to quit. This challenge is coming every way. Maybe you feeling the ugly cry inside. You sitting at your desk and you're wondering. And I'm telling you, just like my dad reminded me in that moment, that you're built for this. He gave me that vote of confidence to say, hey, I believe in you. You got this. And I want to give that to you today. That yes, this is hard. Yes, it seems impossible at times, but you were absolutely built for this. And when you have those moments, and it's not a matter if, but when they come, remind yourself and say, you know what? I'm built for this shit. And I believe in each one of you. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. And for all my rookies, I know this is new information, but I want you to keep that rookie state of mind. Well, what's that, Fitz? Remember, the level up is in the losses. Problems are a privilege. And yes, you might be new to this, but I know you're true to this because you're in this moment right now. And I believe in each one of you. So y'all get out there this week and let's do those rookie reset push-ups, y'all. Y'all reset that class. You get it back on track. Set the tone in your domain. And we are